Entertain people for 10 seconds.
Got your eyes. Okay, here's soon, y'all. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get into the juicy bits of my rant, and the juicy bits of my rants involve the stuff from when I was actually a software developer, like how much fucking cancer software developer interviews are.
Oh yeah, that's actually something I had on the list as well.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do the clap. Seriously, you're gonna clip this part because I'm gonna fucking lose my shit on it. So what besides maybe just random shit that you've seen? What have you ever had any experience with like what type of stuff you typically get exposed to at a like developer interview?
My one dev job was a research assistant position, and they kind of just needed someone to do the work. So I was the only person who responded anyway. So for me, my personal experience with actual dev job interviews has just been, you have the job. I've seen plenty of stuff online. I've seen some examples of insane coding tests where it's like, here's 12 hours of work and you probably won't get the job.
Yeah. So I never got one of those.
I just realized I had I had the file viewer covering the OBS window. I was like, oh, it's crashed. I'm dumb. Okay. Anyway,
okay, so I've never had one of those interview things where they have you go literally make a whole fucking product.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a huge pet peeve about companies that basically just copy Fang and what they do. That is my hugest gripe. I have been what I would consider unfairly screwed out of opportunities before because they would go, hey, here's this code test. We want you to traverse this, like a reverse binary search tree or some other shit. And I'm like, okay, can I ask a question? Sure. Am I ever going to need to do this on the job? I mean, you might. No, don't fucking lie to me. No, I'm not. And I hate companies that base their code interview things on one of two things, if not both. One is the algorithms. Second one being vaguely written code that if I ever saw that in the code base and the guy still worked there, I'd punch them in the dick. So algorithms, first off.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm sure you may have already been well aware of at this point, the extent you actually utilize like algorithms that you learn in like uni or something is extremely few and far in between, unless you're working on a system like stuff that maybe big FANG companies have because they care, a lot more about scaling. When you need that really, really, really fine-tuned efficiency from stuff like that. Otherwise, I don't give a shit. Just get the shit working. That's what most of those people really need to work on. Or get devs that aren't like super big on algorithms, but they have good business acumen. That's much better if you're a small business. Because then they can actually help brainstorm ideas that, generate additional revenue or help the business grow. But for some reason, and okay, here's the thing, I'm sure you understand this, that makes a good developer is they tend to be very good at tackling problems that are new to them.
Sure, yeah.
They're able to adapt very easily. But for some fucking reason, when every single hiring manager or dev lead or whatever is confronted with the problem of, we have to devise a vetting process to get new devs on a team, their brain just leaves their body and they're like, I'll just copy what Amazon and Google do. Yeah. That's
yeah. I don't have anything to say to that. Just don't.
And then the second one is, and actually you might see it in whatever video Fluke does because Fluke's doing a video about shit code interview examples, and I sent him one. It was a code snippet, and they said like, you have to be. Can you tell us what this code's doing? Right. And it was just this JavaScript function, and I'm going to describe it as best as I can. Function F argument A, B. Every single variable and thing going on is literally a one-letter thing.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, and I actually refused to answer that question. I literally sent them an email and I was like, I got a question for y'all. Okay, are you having a problem with it? Maybe it's a problem. Maybe we'll figure this out. I said, this snippet that you sent me, do you actually have code in your code base like this? Oh, no, we don't. Then why did you send it to me? Why did you show me this? I said, nobody writes code like this. If you have someone that writes code like this in your company, I don't want to work there. I would much rather slam my dick at a car door than work on a code base that looks like this. And they were like, well, it's part of it. Was like the HR person said, fuck off. She knew what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, well, this is what they gave me. And I was like, well, they don't understand what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's the problem. The HR people are the ones. Sorry. I was going to say, the problem is they a lot of the time the hiring process is done by the HR team rather than the development team. If they got the development team to do it, something productive might actually happen. But no, if you just say, here's the stuff, give it to HR, HR doesn't know what to do with it. No. Of course they don't. They're HR. It's not their job to know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, you were saying? I cut you off.
I said, can you please ask your dev team why this is in here? Like, I'm actually curious. And she actually answered me back. She said, well, they said they want to see if you're able to understand abstraction. I said, this is not abstraction. This is a fucking train wreck. Abstraction would be you show me like a bunch of classes and, do I understand like polymorphism or something? I was like, this is not abstraction. This looks like code that a fucking 5-year-old wrote.
Here, I put this code through an obfuscator. Tell me what it does. Like,
yes. I was like, this looks more like code that like would would come out from the fucking compiler actually compiling the code.
Here's this Java job. Tell me what this machine code does. It's like, what am I here for?
But to follow up on that, I try not to be someone who just complains about shit all the time. Sure. I like to try to offer my opinion on how to make it better. And so that if any of you fucking asshole project leads or hiring managers are watching this later, you need to actually seriously evaluate what it is you need in your company right now. If you're scaling, maybe you do need someone who's good at algorithms. If you're just trying to grow and you need to get shit done, you should probably just create a process that kind of mimics what you do, like a really small, minuscule version of it, and have them do that. Something that probably only takes like, 2-3 hours maybe, if that. Using a tech stack so you can demonstrate that, one, they know how to actually use the tooling that you all use, and two, they understand at least some part of your system well enough that they can work in it. And then they can assimilate into the greater whole. That's, if I was in a position, that's exactly what I would.
Yeah. But also then, hey,
I contribute to society.
Make sure that you don't post the terrible code online because we don't want people to know it's terrible code.